Today we're going to do something just a little bit different. Normally you hear me going on and on about all things leadership, about culture, about building teams, about leading with courage, candor, and heart, pushing performance, all those things, right? And now all those things are super important. Those all come with trying to elevate people and elevate the environments we work in. Today, though, I'm going to do something just a tad bit different. Today, I want to sit down with someone special, special in a lot of ways. That someone is a younger version of me. I like to call him Young Dumb Joe. He was a guy first stepping into leadership that was maybe not overly confident, but he was cocky. He was full of energy. He was full of ambition. He woke up every day ready to run through a brick wall. He was ready to work 80 hours a week every week. But if I'm being honest, that dude had no understanding at the time of what leadership really was about. So, if I could sit across from him today, this is what I'd say to him. The first thing I'd tell this guy, Joe, you need to relax. You need to settle down. Put your anxiety away for a few minutes, man. You don't have to have everything figured out right away. You're not gonna. You're just not gonna. And, I get it. When you first step into leadership, you feel the pressure. Because you're supposed to be the smartest person in the room, right? You're supposed to think that you have all of the answers. You think everyone's watching you under a microscope at all times of the day. It's like Big Brother. You think they're evaluating you. You think they're waiting to see if you're really supposed to have that title on and be in that leadership seat. And when you don't have the answer, when you mess up, you feel like you're on an episode of Naked and Afraid because it feels like you're getting exposed. Like people are figuring out you don't even know what you're doing. So slow down a second and let me save you some stress. Nobody, I don't care what they tell you. I don't care who they are. I promise you this. Nobody has leadership completely figured out. Why? Because the best leaders that I've ever met or I've ever worked with are the ones who stayed curious. They are the leaders who asked genuine questions. They are the leaders who slowed down and genuinely listened. And they are the leaders that kept moving forward by keeping learning. Leadership is not about proving you're the smartest person in the room. It's about creating an environment where people around you can figure things out, individually or together. The next thing I tell Young Dumb Joe is, took me years to understand this, but dude, your title means squat. That title, that doesn't make you a leader, man. What makes you a leader is your behaviors. I get it. Early on in your career, you first get promoted into a leadership position, and you think authority comes with that position. But real leadership, it doesn't come from a title. It doesn't come from that seat you're sitting in. Real leadership, true leadership comes from trust. It comes from consistency. It comes from integrity. The way you show up every single hour of every single day. The honest truth is, people don't follow a title. That's why you see great peer-to-peer leaders out there. Because people follow a person they respect. And respect cannot be demanded. It isn't demanded. It's earned. It's earned by every decision that is made. It's earned by every conversation had. And it's earned by every moment, current, future, and even past. Every moment. And another thing I wish I would have understood earlier on is, and I would have told this straight up to him. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is not your enemy. It's your friend. Your true enemy is comfort. That cozy, warm, snuggly comfort. That's your enemy. There were moments earlier in my career, and like probably not even like that early, even more recently, where mistakes felt devastating. They were terrible. Where one wrong move, one wrong mistake, I felt like I was going to lose my entire career. I was done. I was over. I was going to be on the streets. My family was going to be on the streets. But looking back now, I am so thankful for every one of those moments. They're a blessing. Those moments are what shaped me. Those moments are what forced me to grow. They forced me to learn because I had to be curious. All of that, they forced me to be better and to get better. Growth doesn't happen when everything is peaches and cream. It doesn't happen when there's no waves. Growth happens when you're stretched, when things get uncomfortable, when you're forced to get it figured out. So don't ever feel failure. You feel comfort. You fear comfort. Because comfort's like a disease that slowly wraps you up and pulls you into a pit of quietness where your potential slowly dies. Now, another lesson I wish someone would have told me earlier on is leadership isn't about being friends with everyone. No, it's not. You want to, especially when we're younger. We want everyone to like us. We want everyone to feel comfortable coming to us and talking to us. We want everyone to think we're a good leader. Because you want to build those relationships. You want to be approachable. And those things do matter. They are important in leadership. But leadership isn't the Miss America pageant. It's not a run for student council. It's not a popularity contest. It is a responsibility. Responsibility. And sometimes you're just going to have to make decisions that people aren't exactly fond of. And sometimes you're going to have some pretty damn uncomfortable conversations. And sometimes you're going to have to hold a standard even as people resist that standard. And that's okay. It's okay because that's your job. Because your job, your title, your position. That isn't to be everyone's friend. It's about building an environment where people can grow. It's about building an environment where people can succeed. It's a place where accountability exists and where the standard means something much, much, much more than words on a poster on the wall. And if you lead with integrity, and if you lead with honesty and clarity and transparency, if you lead with candor, if you lead with heart, people might not always love every decision in the moment that it's made. Fact. But you know what? They'll respect you. And respect is an extremely important component of the foundation of real leadership. Not popularity. Popularity has nothing to do with being a leader. Truthfully. Now, another thing I would slow down and tell young dumb Joe is pay attention and be curious about the people around you. Because leadership isn't never about just one person. It's about building people. Working through and helping them understand what their superpowers are, what they're capable of. Helping them to grow into something they never realized was possible. They never thought about it. Because somebody did that for you. Because when everything is said and done, the real legacy of leaders isn't a scorecard. It's absolutely not. That's historical. But legacy are the people you leave behind. It's the individuals who grew and became better because someone had invested in them. That's legacy. I'm someone's legacy. You're someone's legacy. And it's the leaders who grew because someone believed in them. And that impact travels far beyond the moment, far beyond the current fiscal year, far beyond the previous fiscal year. And the last thing I tell a younger version of myself, don't lose your courage, man. Do not lose your courage. Be fearless. Because this career, leadership, it's going to test you. It's going to test you, bud. There will be moments where the decisions feel so extremely heavy. There are going to be moments where the path forward is super foggy. And there are going to be moments where doubt creeps in and tells you to play it safe. But that fearless courage, that's what carries you through those moments. Courage to pick up the phone and make a call. Courage to have that conversation and speak the truth. Courage to stand up for what's right. Courage to keep moving forward, even when the path is extremely uncertain. Because if you lead with courage, if you lead with fearless courage, if you lead with candor, challenge with care, radical candor, and if you lead with a little bit of this, with heart, you're going to build something meaningful, something powerful, something that's not perfect, but meaningful. Meaningful. And maybe the most powerful thing about this conversation today is this. Every single one of us has a younger version of ourselves. There's a younger version of ourselves somewhere in our own story. A version that didn't know yet what you and I know now. A little bit of wisdom, right? A version that was still learning. Not that we're not, but they were early on in their learning journey. A person that's still growing. A person that is still figuring things out. So maybe the question today isn't just what I would tell my younger self. I already walked you through that, but maybe the question is, what would you tell yours? What lessons would you pass back to that version of yourself? What encouragement would you give them? And how can you yourself use what you have learned through your journey to lift someone else up along the way? It's not just about moving forward, guys. Folks, sometimes it's about taking a look back as well. Taking a look back and recognizing how far you have come. And using that experience to help someone else rise up. To help them grow. So I ask you this. Keep leading with courage. Keep leading with candor, clarity. Keep leading with heart and kindness. To build people. Because that's what we do. I'll see you next time around. Joe, out.